what ions are and how they are formed. When an atom gains or loses electrons, they develop a charge. Recall that electrons are negatively charged, so the gain or loss of electrons will create a charge. These charged particles are called ions. When an atom loses electrons, they become positively charged. Positively charged ions are called cations. An easy way to remember this is to recall that cats have paws. When an atom gains electrons, they become negatively charged. Negatively charged ions are called anions. Let's look at sodium as an example. Its electronic structure is 2, 8, and 1. It has one electron in its valence or outermost shell. When sodium loses this valence electron, it becomes a positively charged sodium ion. This charge is written as a superscript when writing the symbol. When drawing the electronic structure, enclose it in square brackets and write the charge on the top right-hand corner. Now, let's look at oxygen as another example. Its electronic structure is 2 and 6. Therefore, there are 6 electrons in its valence shell. Oxygen gains 2 electrons to form a negatively charged oxide ion. Remember to include the charge when writing the symbol and when drawing the electronic structure. If we look at the electronic structure of these 2 ions, we will see that they have a complete outer shell. We will also see that they have the same electronic structure as that of a noble gas. The sodium ion and the oxide ion have the same electronic structure as a neon atom. How are you feeling about ions? Are you ready to form ions on your own? Let's try. Please pause the lesson and draw the electronic structure of a calcium ion and a chloride ion. The electronic structure of calcium is 2, 8, 8, 2. It loses 2 valence electrons to form a calcium 2+ ion. The electronic structure of chlorine is 2, 8, and 7. It gains an electron to form a chloride ion. These 2 ions have the same electronic structure as an argon atom. Did you get the structures right? And did you remember to specify the charges? What do sodium and magnesium have in common? They are both metals, and metals lose their valence electrons to form cations. Group 1 metals, such as sodium, have one valence electron, and they lose this electron to form ions with a +1 charge. Group 2 metals, such as magnesium, have 2 valence electrons, and they lose these electrons to form ions with a 2+ charge. Oxygen and fluorine are both nonmetals. Nonmetals tend to gain electrons to form anions. Oxygen is in group 6 and has 6 valence electrons. It gains 2 electrons to form an ion with a -2 charge. Fluorine is in group 7 and has 7 valence electrons. It gains 1 electron to form an ion with a -1 charge. Group 3 elements, such as aluminum, lose 3 electrons to form ions with a +3 charge. Group 5 elements, such as nitrogen, gain 3 electrons to form ions with a -3 charge. Group 4 elements, such as carbon, tend to form covalent compounds. Stay tuned. In conclusion, an ion is a charged particle formed from either the gain or loss of electrons. A positively charged ion is known as a cation, and a negatively charged ion is known as an anion. The ions formed have the same electronic structure as their nearest noble gas.